I'm Dr. Kaye Sweetser from the University of Georgia, and I'm here with Dr. Brad Rawlins from Brigham Young University, and he just presented some very interesting research on accountability. So I'd like to ask him a couple of questions about that. Thanks for talking with us, Dr. Rawlins.
It's a pleasure.
I'm wondering if you could walk us through this continuum that you have about accountability.
Well, the idea behind accountability is that social responsibility may not be enough, that social responsibility has become in the ideas of some of the stakeholders, has become a public relations strategy rather than a real ability to keep promises to stakeholders. And so certain corporations are trying to be held accountable for what they're doing, which is really explaining why they're doing something with their stakeholders or the reasons for their policy. So Dr. Kevin Stoker from Texas Tech University and I have developed a continuum that moves from direct accountability to ideal accountability. And with a direct accountability means that an organization is compelled to be accountable to its stakeholders by a third party. A third party has a power or authority over that corporation to compel them to act in ways that they can keep their promises to their stakeholders. To a social accountability, where social accountability is an organization realizes that it wants to maintain good relationships with its stakeholders, so it chooses to be accountable with them and as part of that social contract that it has with their stakeholders. To the third level, which is an ideal accountability, where a corporation ultimately decides that what are the correct principles and values that would maintain good relationships and our responsibility to society, and adhere to those principles and values. In other words, we hold ourselves accountable to ourselves. We have espoused what we believe in, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable to that. And so the practical application of such a continuum is that realizing how much that you can actually gain in terms of authenticity and trust and transparency by being ideally accountable to your publics. That you make an active choice to say, this is who we are, this is what we do, and we're willing to explain that to individuals. Even if it's something that it makes us feel uncomfortable or that makes us vulnerable, we believe in these things and we're going to explain that. To where, if you're compelled to do that, you lose all of that ground, you lose all of that trust, you lose all of that credibility with your audiences. And a good example of that would be the Toyota recall, where I think they originally saw themselves as ideally accountable. They believed in quality, they believed in these things, but they lost that over time. And ultimately what happened is they were forced to be accountable by Congress in recalling their products and explaining exactly what had happened. And you consider with Toyota how much trust with all the key stakeholders was lost by not choosing the ideal accountability, but ultimately sliding back until they were compelled to be accountable.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Rawlins, and happy researching.
Thank you, Kay.